just record that and start by sharing my screen with you. And hopefully you can all see my screen. And we're going to be looking at Ruffing Finesse today. But before we get on to that, I'm going to start with a poll question. And the question is, what do you think North should bid with this hand? West has opened a weak 2 diamonds. So West bid 2 diamonds. That was announced as weak. That should be a 6-card suit with 6 to 10 points. And I'd like you to think about what you think North should bid with that hand. Let me give you a moment to think about it, and then I'm going to launch the first of the 2 polls this evening. What should North bid there? Okay, let's end the poll, and I will share the results with you. And the majority have gone for 2 no trump, 53%. 33% said double, and 2 people passed. And the right answer here is really 2 no trump. 2 no trump over a week 2 should show a range of something like 16 to 19 points with a good stopper in the opponent's suit. And here, I think that's pretty much the right bid there. The problem with doubling is, what do you then bid if your partner bids a major? Are you going to suggest no trump again, or raise their major? But 2 no trump is about right on this hand. 12, then you've got what is it, 17 points, and a very good diamond stopper. So 2 no trump is about right. And let's have a look at how the bidding will go after that. From South's point of view, let's suppose you've got this hand here. You might well go to 4 spades here. You've got 10 points opposite your partner's 16 to 19, and certainly you would be thinking about 4 spades as a possibility there. You could have played transfers if you were clear that you were playing transfers in that situation, but otherwise, let's suppose you just bid 4 spades, and of course that ends the contract. So let's have a look at this hand. South is declarer in 4 spades, and West leads the Jack of Hearts. And I'd like you to have a look at the North hand as well as your own hand, and have a count of how many potential losers you think declarer has. This is the second and last poll of the evening. I'd like you to tell me how many potential losers you think declarer has. You're going to look at it from the point of view of the South hand, but taking into account all the strength in dummy, and tell me how many potential losers you think you have. So here comes that second poll. How many potential losers does declarer have? Okay, I'm going to end the poll there and share the results with you. And the majority here have gone for 4 losers, with 19% saying 3 and 19% saying 5. So let's switch back to it and have a look at it. So let's go through the suits one at a time. I think we've got no spade losers, but we are in danger of losing 2 hearts. We've got the queen, which might lose, and another heart, so 2 losers there. We don't have any diamond losers because we've got the ace opposite the 6 there, but we do have 2 club losers. So I think we start off with 4 potential losers here, 2 hearts and 2 clubs. And obviously, having 1 loser too many, we're going to see if we can get rid of one of those losers somehow. One possibility is that the Queen of Hearts can make a trick. And let's suppose we play the Queen. Unfortunately, it loses to the King. So that's one trick we've lost there. And suppose they come back with a club, which we win. West plays the King there, which we'll look at later. So we've won that trick now, and obviously we don't want to lose 2 clubs and 1 heart, or we'll be defeated. So what we're going to do, though, is look at trying to make some tricks in diamonds. And here, because of the bidding, because West opened a 2 diamond bid, it makes it very, very likely that the King of Diamonds is on our left. So we can make an extra trick there by finessing in diamonds, by doing a normal finesse, if you like, in diamonds. So that's what we're going to do on this hand. Before we do that, I think we should draw trumps. So let's start off by drawing trumps. We draw 1 round there. We play a 2nd round where West discards. So there's still 1 trump out, and we draw that one. So that's all the trumps gone. And we're going to try to make at least 1 more trick in diamonds by leading a diamond. And because we think the King of Diamonds is on our left, unless they play it now, we're going to play the Jack or the Queen, and we expect that to win the trick. By playing that way, what we can now do is cash the ace of diamonds, and we can get rid of one of our losers, either a club or a heart. Okay, and we can avoid 1 loser there through a normal finesse. Now there's not much we can do here. We might take our heart, we might give up a club, okay, but the opponents will maybe play hearts. We can play our last trump out, but at the end we'll lose the last club. But we expect to be able to make 10 tricks there by finessing in diamonds. And we did the normal finesse in diamonds, if you like, by leading low towards the Queen. We can only finesse once in that situation because obviously we've only got a singleton. So that, if you like, is the normal way of finessing. But do interrupt me if you have any questions on that. But let's have a look at a slightly different bidding sequence. The north-south hands are the same, going to be the same here. But here, East started off with a 2 diamond bid. That's a weak 2. You bid 2 spades, and your partner bid 4 spades. And the north-south hands are the same, but the bidding now makes it very likely that the King of Diamonds is on our right, is in the East hand here, because they're the ones who bid the weak 2. So if we tried the finesse the same way as we did last time, it would very likely fail. What we're going to do is do what's called a Ruffing Finesse, and we'll see how that works. So they start off, say, with the Queen of Clubs. East plays the King again. Let's suppose we win that one with the ace. Now, the first thing we might think about doing is drawing trumps. So let's draw trumps. Trumps fall again in 3 rounds. And now we're going to play the diamonds, but we're going to try the finesse the other way. Because it's more likely that East has got the King, what we're going to do is play the ace of diamonds here. and then lead a diamond from the north hand. And we're hoping we'll be able to set up one diamond trick here. We'll lead the queen here, and if east on this hand plays the king, we're of course going to ruff it, and that sets up our jack of diamonds. By the way, if east had not played the king, we would have discarded one of our losers, either a club or a heart there. But when they play the king, it gives us a chance to ruff. Now we're going to get back to dummy. We can try the heart finesse here. The heart finesse may succeed. And on this layout, it actually does succeed. So now we can play the jack of diamonds and we can discard one of our losers. Okay. And now we're not going to do much more, just take our winners. And I think at the end we'll be left with a heart loser, and we'll lose a club as well. But we'll make a contract, but in fact we'll make 11 tricks there because the heart finesse succeeded. So that is an example of a ruffing finesse, and it's superior in this hand because there's a big clue that the king of diamonds is likely to be on your right. So don't try the normal finesse. Instead, play the what's called the ruffing finesse. And ruffing finesses come about in a number of situations. The most common ones are these kinds of situations where you've got a singleton and you've got something like the ace, queen, jack in the other hand. Or maybe you've got a void opposite the king, queen, jack. Or perhaps you've got a singleton opposite a queen, jack, 10, 9. These are all situations where you hope to establish tricks in that suit, and you have a chance to make a ruffing finesse by sometimes catching a winner or otherwise leading the suit and ruffing if the opponents play a high card. And we'll look at examples of all of these in a moment. Do stop me if you have any comments or questions. And in fact, we're going to look at the hand I sent out in my weekly email. This was a contract of 6 spades. This is a recommended bidding on it, where it goes 1 diamond, 2 spades. That's a jump showing something like at least 16 points and a very good spade suit. You find your spade fit, use Blackwood and find out about 2 missing aces. You might even bid 5 no trump, but your partner's got no kings, so you settle for 6 spades. And the opponents lead a heart, and let's have a look at this from declarer's point of view and try and make a plan here. So if you look at the hands together, you can see where are you in danger of losing tricks? Well, we've got a heart loser, haven't we? We've got a potential heart loser. I don't think we're going to lose any spades, and we don't need to lose any diamonds. And we've got 2 club losers here, but there's a very good chance we'll be able to ruff those in dummy. So we start off with a very good chance to make 12 tricks, and we want to give ourselves a chance to make 13 tricks. And what we're going to do is try and make an extra trick in diamonds. And again, there are 2 ways you can play this hand in diamonds. You can play a normal finesse, which is leading a low diamond towards the queen. And if that wins, you'll then be able to cash the ace and discard your 4 of hearts. Or you can do a ruffing finesse. And actually, the ruffing finesse is superior on this hand. And we'll see why in a minute. So let's suppose we win that first trick. And let's suppose we start off by drawing trumps. They fall in 2 rounds, so that's all the trumps gone. And we've got a number of things to do. We want to ruff our clubs at some point, so you could do that now. Start by ruffing a club. Okay, and we're going to play the diamonds at some point. And the best way to play the diamonds is to try the ruffing finesse rather than a normal finesse. If we tried a normal finesse, let's suppose we led the 5 of diamonds and played the jack, then if that loses to the king, the opponents will defeat us because they will be able to cash a heart. Whereas if we try the Ruffing Finesse, it gives us a chance to discard a loser and make our contract, even if the Ruffing Finesse fails. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to play the Ace of Diamonds, and then we're going to play the Queen of Diamonds. Now, if the king appears here on your right, you will ruff it, and you will now have set up the Jack of Diamonds. But if they play low, what you must do is discard your loser. And the loser to discard is, of course, a heart. And on this particular layout, West has got the King of Diamonds, so that finesse fails, but you were able to get rid of a heart loser. So if the opponents now play a heart, you can now ruff that, and you'll be able to make 12 tricks, but giving yourself a chance to make 13 tricks. So on this particular layout, the Ruffing Finesse did not work, but nonetheless, you guaranteed your contract. And that's often the case. If you're faced with a choice of a Ruffing Finesse or a normal finesse, it's often better to take the Ruffing Finesse rather than risk the normal finesse. I hope you can see that if you'd have led a diamond and tried the Jack, it would have succeeded on this hand. But if the king had been on your right, you'd have lost that, and then the opponents would have been able to take a heart before you were able to discard it. So that's an example of a Ruffing Finesse. This hand actually was very similar to one that came up last year. This was the hand where it's virtually identical from the north-south point of view. And you can see that the diamond situation gives you a chance of making a finesse or a Ruffing Finesse. Here, the Ruffing Finesse will succeed, which we'll look at in a minute. And that's why the computer finds you can make seven spades here. But not many people did make 7 spades, and some went down in one went down in 6 spades, others didn't bid the slam. So so this was actually one time it was played. This was the exact hand, and this pair, even though they bid only 4 spades, they actually made 13 tricks. And this is how they played it. The heart was led like before. They took their ace, they drew trumps, 2 rounds of trumps. Then they played the ace of clubs, the king of clubs, and then they played a diamond, and they took their ace here and then led the queen back. And if East doesn't play the king here, declarer should throw away the 4 of hearts. But if they play the king, you of course ruff it now, and that sets up your Jack. So now you can return to dummy by ruffing a club and cash the Jack of Diamonds, and that way you're going to make 13 tricks, okay, which is what happened on this hand. Okay, so that was one of the players who managed 13 tricks, but as you can see, quite a few people didn't manage 13 tricks. Either they didn't finesse or they didn't try the Ruffing Finesse. But if you have a Ruffing Finesse available on a layout like this, it's well worth considering, unless there's been some clue in the bidding to make you think you know where the King of Diamonds is. Then the Ruffing Finesse is often superior to a normal finesse, because it will allow you to discard 1 extra loser, even if the finesse doesn't succeed. Do interrupt me if you have any comments on that. So the other kinds of Ruffing Finesses I want to look at briefly are situations like this. Here you open a heart, there's a double, but your partner jumps to 4 hearts, and the opponents lead a diamond. And as usual, I'd like you to think about how many potential losers you have here. So we're looking at it from the point of view of the hand with a long trump suit, but taking into account all the strength in dummy. Well, how many spade losers have you got? You've actually got 3 potential spade losers. If the king loses to the ace, you might lose 3 losers there. No heart losers. And you've got some diamond losers. You've got at least 1 diamond loser. Even if you are able to ruff the other 2 diamonds in dummy, which you should be able to do here, you still have a diamond loser as well as 3 spades. Not going to lose any clubs, but what we're going to try and do is make use of those clubs to see if we can make some extra tricks here. Okay, and we're going to do that with a ruffing finesse. So let's see how that goes. Let's win the first ace of diamonds. And we've actually got a lot of trumps here. We've got 10 trumps here. So let's draw 1 round. And it's a good idea here to keep your jack of hearts at the moment, because keep your entries, because what you're going to do here is do a ruffing finesse in clubs. So what you do is you lead one of your clubs, and if the ace appears, you're going to ruff it and then get back to dummy, and that sets up the remainder of your clubs. So that's how it goes. If the ace doesn't appear here, what you're going to do is discard a loser. Okay, so don't ruff this, discard a loser. And the loser I think I want to discard is a spade here. So I'm going to discard a spade. Okay, and that won the trick. The king won the trick. So we're going to repeat that. We're going to leave the queen here. Let's suppose he this time plays their ace. We're going to ruff that. And now we've set up 2 clubs in dummy. So all we need to do now is draw that last trump with the jack. And there's no more trumps now. And now I can play my jack and 10 of clubs. And the thing to discard on this is your spades. You want to discard your spades, okay, not your diamonds, because you're only going to lose 1 diamond. And now you just lose 1 diamond, but will be able to ruff the rest. So you're going to win those, ruff the diamond, ruff a spade, and ruff a last diamond. And you should be able to make 12 tricks on this hand. All you lost in the end was 1 diamond, and you were able to discard the remaining potential losers on the clubs. So king, queen, jack, 10 there with a void opposite. You can avoid all those losers depending on whether the ruffing finesse succeeds. Now, what if the ace had been in the other hand? Let's look at that. I've just changed this so that the ace is over here. What will happen now? Let's go through it again. You'll maybe cross over to dummy, lead the king, and again, as before, you're going to discard a spade loser. This time, the finesse fails, but you were able to at least get rid of one of your spades here. And in fact, at this point, if I click on the GIB button, the computer is going to tell me that the best thing for the defense to allow you to make the contract is if they either cash the ace of spades or the queen or jack. There is actually a way to defeat the contract, but that is a very unlikely to be found. You can see that if you lead the 5 of diamonds, your partner can win the 10 as it happens and can lead a spade back and trap your king. But in the absence of that, I think if anyone did that against you, you might think they're looking at their partner's hand. Otherwise, what's likely to happen is they'll probably take the queen, and the best the defense can do at this point is to actually just take their ace of spades. Okay. If they take another spade, you take that, and now you've got the rest of the tricks, because you've got all those clubs set up, and you'll make 10 tricks there. So you should be able to make 10 tricks on this hand anyway, but you give yourself a chance of more by trying the ruffing finesse, leading the king, ruffing if the ace appears, otherwise discarding a loser. And one last example to look at. Let's have a look at this one here, where you open one heart. There's a double here. Your partner bids 2 hearts. That's a bit light, but let's suppose you end up in 4 hearts here. And let's try and make a plan. Suppose your opponents leave the ace of diamonds. Let's have a look at this from declarer's point of view. And let's try and work out how many losers we have here potentially. Well, we've got 1 spade, haven't we? Diamonds, we should only lose 1 because we'll be able to ruff after that. And we've got 2 club losers. So we've got 4 potential losers here: 1 spade, 2 clubs, and 1 diamond. But maybe we can make use of these diamonds, because this lead of the ace of diamonds makes it quite likely that West has got the ace and the king, and maybe that lead has helped us set up tricks. So let's see what happens. Let's suppose they take their ace and they switch to the king of spades, which we take. Now we've got 10 trumps here again, so let's start by drawing trumps. We'll draw 2 rounds of trumps. That's all the trumps gone. And what we're going to do now is do a ruffing finesse in diamonds. Remember, the ace has gone, but what I'm going to do is lead the queen of diamonds. I expect that West has got the king here. If they were to play it, we would ruff it, and then our remaining diamonds would be good. If they play low here, we're going to discard a loser. And we're not too worried about spades because we've only got a singleton here, but we're going to see how many clubs we're able to discard. So we'll try and discard 1 club. We expect that succeeds. If we play another one, if they play their king this time, then of course we're going to ruff it. But it's set up our 10 of diamonds. So we can come back to our hand with the king and cash the 10 of diamonds, and we can get rid of 1 club loser. Okay, so after that we're going to just lose that 1 club, and we're going to lose a spade, but that should be it. Whatever they play now, we'll be able to ruff and ruff the well, we don't need to ruff that. Oh, sorry, ruff the club, and then ruff that last spade, and we'll make our 10 tricks on this one. So in other words, we made use of the fact that the ace and king of diamonds were likely to be on our left here, and we were able to make some tricks with our diamonds by establishing that suit. So that's another case where you can do a ruffing finesse with a singleton there with the queen jack 10. You're going to lose 1 trick, but you hope that's all, and you hope that will set up some tricks for your side. Interestingly, if I go all the way back to the beginning, and if I click on the GIB link, the computer is actually telling West that the only way that declarer can make this contract is if West leads a diamond. On any other lead, declarer should be defeated, because you don't have time to set up the diamonds in the same way. So yes, you could be defeated here, losing a spade and 2 clubs and a diamond. But if your opponents do lead a diamond, the ace of diamonds, you can take advantage of it by setting up that suit. So those are the examples of ruffing finesses. Does anyone have any questions about any of those? These are the layouts to look out for. The singleton with the ace opposite, where often a ruffing finesse is superior to trying the normal finesse. And then these other situations, these are ruffing finesses, but they can only be tried one way, really. You lead the suit and ruff any honor your partner plays, otherwise discard a loser. So that's it on the ruffing finesse. All right. Anyone have any comments to make? You're all muted, so unmute yourself if you want to say anything. And we'll be starting the game at 7:30. So we'll end the end the talk there, and I'm just